Greetings, greetings. Welcome back to another episode of the Death, Taxes, and Sports Podcast, episode 132. We are continuing to make history. I'm here with my esteemed Johnson & Wales alum, Mr. Ben Holloway. Sir, how are you doing?
Doing good, man. Doing good. How about yourself, sir?
Good, man. Good. You know, my Bruins here. We're up 2-1, down 3-1 against the Panthers. That last call, the last game was a little bit suspect, but it is what it is. But we won't focus on that. We got plenty of other more exciting things to talk about. But yeah, man, we got some big stuff today, man. We got biggest takeaways from the NBA, from the playoffs. There's been a lot of different changes that have been going on. Some really exciting storylines that we're definitely going to be getting to, Ben. Then we're also going to be talking a little bit about our favorite NFL teams and seeing what's at stake. And then, of course, there's going to be a little bit more NBA. But first, looks like there's a WNBA expansion team, and the name came out. Not sure if you saw it, Ben. Wanted to kind of just get your 30-second thoughts on the Golden State Valkyries for the WNBA next expansion team, I believe, starting next season.
Are you talking about Toronto?
No, sir. Golden State. Golden State has their expansion team next year. Their name just came out, called the Valkyries.
The what?
The Golden State Valkyries. I know, right? The Golden State Valkyries.
That's the best they could come up with?
I mean, it's so when you think of the Valkyries, right? Like they were these. I think if they're, I'm thinking of Thor from Marvel. There were these ladies, I believe, called the Valkyries. They were like these warrior women fighters, and so I actually like it. Like when you really like dig into it, it actually represents something pretty cool. But your thoughts of the name?
Yeah, I mean, I just don't know what it is. So if what you're describing, I like it. That works. That's good.
Yep.
Let's get some, get some power to it.
Yeah,
power behind it.
Exactly.
Like
didn't want to spend too much time on it. But let's get to a little bit of NBA playoffs, man. Whew. I mean, there's so many different ways that we can go. I think there's going to be. Let's just talk about a couple takeaways, man, because we could go so many different angles with this. But I'm going to toss it to you first. What's give me a couple.
Yeah, I got the first one is we watched these playoffs and we've seen how important I'm just going to call them the wing players, because it is in this when you watch every possession, there's screens. Every possession, no matter what team it is, there's always pick and roll. Always, maybe more so now than it used to be. And what do you need to combat that as a defense? You need wing guys. You need athletic wing guys that want to play defense, that are good at playing defense, gonna get the hustle plays, gonna get the rebounds. Of course, Josh Hart, even though he's a little bit undersized, comes to mind as one of these guys, one of these glue guys and, wing guys. It's so important to have at least two, maybe three good wing guys where they can switch on anybody. It doesn't matter who it is. And to me, just watching these playoffs, the teams that are still in it and the teams that are going, far, you got the Timberwolves you got the Timberwolves, you got the Mavericks with those guys that they got at the trade deadline, Washington, Gafford, you got the Nuggets.
Let's talk about
you need wing guys, man, and that's kind of what stands out to me right now. That's what I'm.
Yeah, and I want to talk about Dallas a little bit, because those two guys, PJ Washington, and the other guy whose name
Daniel Gafford.
Okay, boy, you want to talk about two dudes that are making an instant impact? PJ Washington spreading the floor. Like, I think that's what's making the difference within this series. I don't want to focus too much on it, right? But I think those two guys made the difference to be able to match the athleticism of OKC, right? So I'm with you, because OKC, man, they have guys 6'3" all the way to 6'9" that can spread the floor, can run, can handle the ball, can shoot, and can drive. But go ahead.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, you're just watching these games. The switchability is, not a word. Maybe it is a word. Don't care. But the ability to switch multiple positions Like you see that the best teams, it doesn't matter who is guarding who because they're comfortable with every switch. It doesn't matter. You can do 10 pick and rolls. We still like our matchup as a defense. That guy in Oklahoma City, Lou Dort. Oh my God, unbelievable! And and I know we don't want to go into that series too much, but he is impacting Luka mentally. And Luka, at least last night, was literally looking for the foul more than anything else. He wasn't trying to score first. He wasn't trying to assist first. He was complaining to the refs like nonstop, which actually pissed me off because if you're that good of a player, you should be able to overcome things. And Lou Dort was totally in his head. The guy, Luka, was just totally focused on him and not making the pass, not scoring, focused on how he was being played and how the referees were calling it. And it's just like, bro, you can't play any sport like that. You can't be thinking about the refs when you're going on offense or defense. You just can't. And to me, that's one of the biggest reasons he put up a stinker last night because he was just focused on that. It's like, bro, focus on helping your team win.
So I got one for you. Just because I'm just thinking about this, I was switching. The importance of the point guard position is going to be even more important than ever. I mean, we always talk about how the NBA evolves, right? It's kind of like going back to our time at Johnson Wales, man, it was like, okay, it was the big three era. Get yourself three good guys, build everyone else around that. Now it's about, okay, now we need a team, right? Because you look at Denver, and I think that's what made Denver so lethal last year because Bruce Brown coming off the bench was just he was such a great spark plug. And I think that's what they're missing this year and why it's been a little bit more difficult for them. But the point guard position, and it's going to even be more important for teams that didn't make it or not even in it, like the Suns, right? You're looking at the Lakers. I mean, D'Angelo Russell, I think there could be better options at point guard. But your thoughts?
Yeah, for sure. I like where you're going with that, but just because you brought up the Nuggets, and it is their starting five, which is their bench that is weaker, but two of those wing guys, Aaron Gordon and Michael Porter Jr., they can switch on to anybody, and they're comfortable guarding anybody. Like that's one of Denver's strengths is because obviously Murray is not a good defender. Jokic is not a good defender. But how do they quote unquote get away with that? They got a lot of other really good defenders. Like you don't need your whole 8 guys or 7 guys that play in the playoffs to be great defenders, but you probably need to win. You need at least 2. Like maybe not great, like not defensive player of the year, but you need 2 really good defenders. And frankly, if you don't have that, then you ain't making it far. So that's kind of my takeaway is the switchability, how important it is. And, the teams that are playing great defenses are still playing. And the Pacers, they're still in it, of course, but they don't guard anybody.
No, they do not.
That's why even if they were to make it to the conference finals, like they ain't beating the Celtics. Like it's just that's another thing. Like you always see in sports. I'm sorry, going off a little tangent here, but you see in sports teams that make it to the championship that haven't been challenged yet, and then usually those teams lose in the championship because they haven't faced the competition. No matter if it's the Knicks or the Pacers, the Celtics are not going to be seriously like Game 7 challenged in the East. So they're not going to be like seriously challenged until the finals. And a lot of times when you see that, that doesn't work out well because there's just something about it. There's a level, there's a step up that you for a month you haven't been playing that level of competition, and now it's like you're thrown into the fire. So that's kind of something to watch because they're not going to be challenged in the East. It's just not.
Which is and it's like I'm watching this game right now and I'm like the Knicks are up by 10 points. I'm like, this is just absolutely embarrassing. I mean, this is a team that's literally on its last leg. You're the healthier, deeper, more athletic team, and I'm just like looking at a guy like Haliburton, kind of starting thinking the dude's a little bit overrated. I think there's been like a push by the media with an agenda to push. We're with the media, but whatever. You get what I'm saying. Like,
I do.
Have this agenda and are treating Tyrese Haliburton as if he is like the second coming of Kobe Bryant. But when you watch him in games, he is so streaky and he is so inconsistent. It's like, y'all need to actually just like, I think more people just need to actually just like watch basketball. Just watch the goddamn game. Don't go by based on stats, because you look at the game and he just is just so hot and cold.
Yeah, I agree with that. And the other thing, and that's a good transition to the next segment, perfect segue. But before we go there, I wanted to add that, what was I going to say? It was relevant to what you were saying. Something you said like a minute ago, as far as we're outside of the big three era. Look at the teams that are still there. You got the Timberwolves, who have one great player in Anthony Edwards and a bunch of really good players. Oklahoma City, one amazing player and a bunch of really good players. Like, you need the one guy at least that's probably like a top 10 player in the league. It's more beneficial if you have two, but you need one. Those teams have a lot of really good role players, specifically Minnesota and Oklahoma City. They only got one dude that's like surefire. Yeah. You're one of the top 10 players in the league.
But one guy that keeps the nucleus together is Mike Conley. I do not think people realize how important Mike Conley. Like, here's the thing: Mike Conley, before even Cat got into the league, Mike Conley was already an 8-year veteran because he got drafted in 2007. So this man has been around literally since my freshman year of college. Okay, he played with Greg Oden. Okay, this man has played a lot of basketball. Mm-hmm. He has made a lot of money, and he is one hell of a veteran to run your offense. And I think for him and his leadership is going to be even more pivotal. And look who joined. What's up? What's up?
Marisa, welcome.
Oh, sorry. It's been a long day. What's up, everybody?
Hey, sorry about not getting the number one pick. I'm so sorry. I was rooting for y'all. Sorry.
Don't get her started.
But this draft is not even that exciting, though. Like it almost doesn't even matter, because it's like this draft class is so weak. I mean, it's not an exciting draft class. I'm just saying. So I don't think
it's not about that. It's the principle of the 30 years straight. Like, I feel, and I said it before, and I said it on a show, and I said it on my YouTube short, that I feel that it's like a vinyl record that is just put into the crates and left there. And then when time comes, they pull it out. And it just like everybody gets, different numbers and so forth. But Pistons, for some reason, is stuck at number 5. And don't get me wrong, 5 is my favorite number. I was born on March 5th. Some of the greats wore number 5, Jason Kidd, Kevin Garnett. Don't get me wrong, but in this case, when help is needed everywhere for this team, 5. And then we saw that the Atlanta Falcons and the Houston Rockets got a fast pass like Disney to the top 4.
So, and let's stick on these Pistons.
The line.
And if we can, I just want to throw a little pivot, and then we'll get back to the agenda here.
Man.
But this is a perfect pivot, and I'll throw it to you, Tigney. It's like, what about the state? Because I was reading an article about the Pistons and the Athletic, and I'll send it to you. And it was talking about how they regressed, how they went from 17 wins to 14. It was a really good written article, and it really had me thinking about this Pistons team, because they have so many young players, but they should be like a 25 to 30 win team with that type of young talent.
Thank you.
But just as a fan, but it's like, it's more than just the players, right? And I just want to get your thoughts on this, because I feel like it has permeated all the way throughout the whole entire franchise. And when you have that many draft picks, you should not be losing as many games as they are. You should be more than 14 wins. You should be 25 to 30 when you have like literally 4 or 5 lottery picks. I don't care what their age is.
Exactly.
But what is your thoughts on the state of this team? Like, I just want to get your 2 cents on this.
It's amazing, the revolving door of talent that we've had come through the team. Boban Bogdanovic, and then we had Jaden Ivey, who's established, and then we have a Cade Cunningham that finally is healthy. Then we have a Seward Thompson, who was doing very well, and tail end of the season he ended up getting injured, and all the key pieces that's been coming in through the door. My question is, what's the culture behind closed doors? What's going on with this organization? As you said, Jeffy, you nailed it on the nail on the head. This team has young talent, and you cannot give me the reason that this team is young, because there is a young team right now in the postseason seated at number 1, and that is the Oklahoma City Thunder. For some reason, they clicking on all cylinders, and it's going to be a great series with them versus the Dallas Mavericks as they got themselves back in it last night. But I don't want to hear any more excuses on they're young, they're trying to figure it out and everything else. You have Monty Williams, who was, and as I believe I said with you guys a few weeks ago when we talked about this, when we talked about this a while ago when they were saying that that Monty Williams, we had to let him go and move into a different direction, and they went with Frank Vogel, and then obviously we know what happened to him after one season. So it wasn't Monty Williams; it was something going on behind closed doors in the culture that has shifted, and now they got Budenholzer, which is a great hire, by the way. I need to check out that article, and I definitely need you to send me the link. But I just don't understand, and I believe, and correct me if I'm wrong, Ben, if this is Cade's third season, Jaden second, Asur's first. We've had veterans that have been on there. I still don't understand what is there to figure out. What is there for them to do to make this team be successful? Because as you said, Jeff, they have regressed, and it's been a problem. And
it's almost like Marisa. It's almost like they got like it's a puzzle. They got all the pieces, but they can't freaking put it together. It's
like that, and it's like you're doing every ounce of any kind of giveaway that you can to get people in the seats. And you don't want the camera angle to show what actually is. I have people that have season tickets. One of them that stopped going and literally gave his tickets away. He didn't even sell them. He gave them away. The other one stuck with it, but he showed me inside of what LCA looked like on certain nights. And I got to tell you, gentlemen, I mean, it reminded me of those smaller schools in the NCAA, Bryant, University of Bryant, St. Peter's, that had the smaller gyms. That's the amount of people that basically could possibly, if not almost, fill up the size of their gym. And it's embarrassing for an organization.
It's embarrassing for basketball.
It is embarrassing for basketball, especially when you are paying the amount of money that you are paying these gentlemen to do their job and to win. So Tom Gores, a lot of people are not a fan of him at this moment in time. Monty Williams are saying he should be one and done. I don't think he should be one and done. I think he should get another shot, in my opinion, because who else is out there? I mean, we had an opportunity like Budenholzer. It's not happening. Right now, we just saw, and I think one of you guys sent it a text when we were talking about Coach K being a consultant, unofficial consultant for the Lakers to get the right hire. Because we all knew Darvin Ham was not the guy, So
the problem is when your two best players criticize your coach, the coach.
I mean, Kevin Durant is going to sixth coach in his career.
I mean, Kevin Durant. I think there's some stat. I think he's had 6 coaches in the last 6 years.
I mean, ladies and gentlemen, you cannot tell me that these players that have been established, and those especially that have championships, do not have an influential say. And these coaches keeping their jobs, a la LeBron James. I said what I said.
Look, and this is the perfect segue into like our next one. But here's all I'm going to say: James Jones, buddy, you should be fired from running personnel decisions with the Suns. This is not a Frank Vogel thing. I'm not trying to go on a rant, but I'm tired of seeing coaches getting the blame for these executives' mistake. Right? Like you got you got to know how basketball works, right? Like how does basketball work? You have a point guard who can facilitate the offense. Why don't you want to have your best player facilitating and scoring? Because his usage rate goes up. It's like there's so many basic things, guys, that when you watch the games and when you see the Suns, it is not working. It doesn't work.
Frank Vogel should have never been on the Suns because Frank Vogel should have been left with the Lakers.
But look at
I still scratch my head of that whole thing after he helped you win a championship. But anyway,
there's no super team right now. The two best teams, most people say, the Nuggets and the Celtics, they don't have 3 superstars. There is no super team right now. That's not how you build a team right now.
There is no super team, Ben, and there's no more the big 3 and all of that. That's gone now. Now we have young talent that is so good. The problem is, I think, gentlemen, and I just want your feedback with it, is that when you inherit a great team, that you get a new coach that's in there and they don't have to do a whole lot of work because they're not brand new players. They're not, rookies or in their second year and everything else. Now we're seeing a trend of young talent and these coaches going, oh my God, wait, I got to come up with plays. I got to come up with all this stuff. I don't have a LeBron. I don't have a KD. I don't have a Devin Booker. I don't have, this is actually young talent. The coach for the Oklahoma City Thunder has proven the fact that you have young talent and you can pull the talent and make them better than their previous game. And that is why they're the number one seed. So that's why I debunked the whole theory of, oh, well, they're young and they'll figure it out. Give them 2 to 3 years. I mean,
but it's almost better though. But it's almost better for OKC because they haven't developed bad habits yet, right? Mm-hmm. Where you have those who have been in the league. If you're a veteran and you've been in this league for 10 plus years, you're not changing the arc of your free throw shot. Mm-hmm. You're not changing the form of your jump shot. You trying to tell Chris Paul, a 20-year veteran, what to do? FOH, that's not going to happen.
No, it's not.
All right, let's get right to it. Ben, NBA players. So, Tigney, this one's going to be really exciting because we got 3 NBA players, 23 younger. So we're going to rank them in order of who would you want as your franchise player. So we got Tyrese Maxey, Tyrese Haliburton, and Anthony Edwards. Rocket, do you, Ben? The Tigney, take it away.
Was that you going to me?
Yeah, I'm going to you.
All right, so for me, defense matters, right? Of course. And Anthony Edwards, out of the 3, to me, is the best defender. He's the best. He's the most athletic. He's the tallest. And clearly, he's not afraid of the moment at all. We've seen him show out in the playoffs last year. We've seen him this year with multiple 40-plus point games. Like, there is no denying. You don't have to question what you're going to get. You know exactly what you're going to get, and he's an ascending, superstar in this league, and he's all about it. I loved his quotes after they lost Game 4. He's like, Jamal Murray, keep talking. I love it. This is competition, baby. Like, I'm ready. He's like, I'll play tomorrow. To me, I don't know. Like, you can say that's young and cocky, whatever it is. I just think that he's ready, man. He ain't afraid. He wants the moment. That's what you want out of your best player. That's what you want. So for me, if I had to go, start a franchise next 5 years, we're ranking these players. I'm putting him 1. And honestly, I'm putting Maxey at 2 because, again, I'm going by what have we seen in the playoffs. And for me personally, Maxey has shown us more in the playoffs. Same thing last year and this year. And this year, obviously in an elevated role after Harden left, and he did not disappoint. He hit a game winner. He had multiple 30-plus point games. And Maxey, I think, out of the 3, I think Maxey has maybe the most – I think that he isn't here. He's not at his next level. I think he's got a next level. I mean, I think Edwards – I think they all do. But I think for some reason, for me personally, just my opinion, Maxey's like next level is like a greater leap. Not that he's going to be better necessarily than these players, but I think there's a whole leap coming for Maxey, and that's scary for the league if I'm right. We'll see. But so I got Maxey there based upon I think that, and the other thing is you never have to question his effort, his intensity, his want. Like, but Maxey and Edwards, like, bro, they're there to play. They're there, like, they're in it, man. You ain't got to question their heart, their grit. Like, they want to play. They want to be the guy. And for me, with Haliburton, you don't always see that. You can see him dominate a game in the regular season, and he has had a couple of good games in the playoffs as well. But for me, it's like for as good as you are, there are certain parts of games that you kind of like disappear. Like you're not there. Like you don't stand out. Mm-hmm. And if you're that good, which at his peak and at his highest playing level, he is that good, then you got to be a little bit more consistent.
Mm-hmm.
So for me, I go Edwards 1, Maxey 2, and Haliburton 3.
I agree.
All right.
I agree with everything that you said. For me, I'm so close to putting Tyrese Maxey in a tie with Anthony Edwards, just for the sheer fact. I think we talked about it on the show, guys, of what to do now in the offseason for the Sixers and the concerns about Joel Embiid and his health and what to do with that, with his position. Should they keep him? Should they, try to trade him to another team, and get someone solid? Should they focus on building around Maxey? Because I no offense to, and then once again, unfortunately, the Sixers got knocked out early, but Tyrese Maxey, several games, carried that team on his back. And there was times where he wasn't getting the help that he needed. And so he reminded me of shades of Kobe Bryant when, the team wasn't, they're doing their due diligence on the floor, on the court. And he's like, well, geez, I guess I got to take it into my hands. And he was pumping threes like nobody's business and going in and bullying people underneath the net and doing the and ones and everything else. And so the Sixers have to make a big decision who they're going to build around and who's going to be their guy. I think Tyrese Maxey is that guy. And he's going to be very interesting in the offseason, as well as, a little bit of the draft, but mostly offseason, what moves they are going to make. But I 100% agree with you, Ben, on the order. I mean, Anthony Edwards, ladies and gentlemen that are watching and y'all that are here, Anthony Edwards' name will be mentioned in MVP candidacy next season.
Yep.
That's all I gotta say. If they don't advance to the next round, or if they do advance to the next round, however far they go, Anthony Edwards is that caliber of talent, and we have watched basketball for a very long time, and we're seeing a different level of Anthony Edwards in this postseason. And I mean, if it is getting people excited, especially Timberwolves fans excited, I mean, think of what's going to happen next season, whatever pieces that they decide to put in play for next season.
Yeah, I mean, I don't disagree with anything that either you beautiful people have said. I think for me, if I'm the Sixers, I trade Joel Embiid this season. I don't I know that Embiid is very, very, very important to that team, but they have to face the reality that as he gets older, attrition is only going to wear down even more. He's not playing for Team USA. I don't know why they even acted like it. Why Leonard's not playing for Team USA.
Him and Kawhi, there's no chance.
They're going to sit on the bench and earn a gold medal. I'm sorry to say that, but I'm just like,
it doesn't make any sense. So
make it make sense. Make it make sense.
Go ahead, Jeff. Go ahead.
All I'm saying is, like, they got to get rid of Tobias Harris, and they got to get rid of Embiid. I'm telling you, there would be some teams that would trade. They could get a haul for Embiid, right? You could get yourself a nice stretch four, use one of your draft picks to get yourself like a Derek Lively. Look at what Lively's doing for. Look at this, like, from an X's and O's perspective that Lively has meant to Dallas.
Yep.
They'll throw the bag at Derek Lively to stay. He wants to stay. He wants to be a Maverick.
Right, like the perimeter, like his decent perimeter defense, very good in the high post pick and roll game, very good at just setting screens. I mean, and he's only 20 years old. The guy's only going to get better. Yeah. So if I'm them, I try to build around Maxey. So there's not really much else that I should say on that. All right, let's get to a little bit of NFL here, Tigney. Our favorite NFL teams. We're going to be kind of get a little personal here and say what is at stake. So it could be anywhere from like a player, it could be a coach, anything in front office, defense. It could be anything, right, Ben?
Yeah, take it where you want to.
So Tigney, what is for you? What is at stake for your Detroit Lions?
Oh, that's so good. I talked to somebody about this because I'm going to go to training camp for the first time. This will be any training camp that I go to of any team. So I'm going to Detroit Lions training camp. My thing is at stake is the person that just got the $212 million 4-year deal, and that's Jared Goff.
Yeah.
We have seen, gentlemen, quarterbacks that have gotten the bag, and either the performance has gone downhill, they've gotten hurt. I mean, we can bring up Joe Burrow. And then we've seen the good side of, somebody getting paid. Patrick Mahomes winning a third ring. It's a catch-22 because of the fact, and we had a huge discussion on X about this, and one person that is just stands on Jared Goff getting too much money for him, getting us an NFC divisional win and a postseason win for the first time in 30 some odd years. I think that it's a lot of pressure on him to perform very well for the money that he was given. He'll be 30 when the season starts. The productivity level of Jared Goff is been, amazing.
Mhm.
I just hope that it is not the taboo of, something happens to him or his production goes down, because right now I have question marks on who our backup is. And, the guy that I think he was on Tennessee that hurt himself and he was out for the season, Hooker Hendricks or Hendricks Hooker.
Herndon.
Yes.
Herndon Hooker. Yeah.
Yes. We haven't seen him, throw a snap or anything like that there because he's been recovering from that injury. So, that's what I say is a make or break.
I got one for the Lions too, for what's at stake. Jameson Williams. It's time to play, man.
Yeah.
First round receiver. You're getting more opportunity this year because they lost one or two receivers. Like, you're being elevated. You're gonna play.
He's right here.
You were a first round draft pick. You were great in college. You were amazing in college.
You got a little bit of trouble.
Now
the whole gambling thing. Got your suspension reduced. I need you to catch balls that are literally coming to your dang chest.
Talk about a sleeper in fantasy football, ladies and gentlemen. A player that could potentially feast because there's going to be a lot of double coverage on Amon-Ra St. Brown. If there's any candidate that has the potential to, I almost think about when Juju Smith-Schuster had those 2 great years where he had over 1,300 yards receiving back-to-back years, primarily because Antonio Brown was doubled. Yeah. So, James Williams, they're going to start looking at you for that 5th-year option at the end of this season, so he's going to have to produce. So I think it's a good one. But take me back to Jared Goff. Jared Goff, I think he's hungry. I think he still has a lot to prove because of what happened with the Rams, and to show that's not a fluke. I think he's out to show vengeance. I think he's out to show for. So I'm excited for y'all. I'm
so beyond excited for this team and what the potentials are going to be. I'm excited for Terry and Arnold joining this team. I think Detroit got it right in the first round. What's going to happen now that a lot of the I don't want to say pressure, but a lot of the weight, should I say, does not have to fall on Aiden Hutchinson. Now we've got, hopefully, please Lord, football gods, that it just balances it out on that defense. I'm just so pumped to see what this team is going to do. I really am. And I'm looking forward to, again, traveling on the road to training camp. I can't wait.
Nice. This one's going to be good. I'm a Lions fan this year. I'm excited because my team's going to be trash. So I'm excited.
You're not giving your team a shot? No?
We got Bo No Man Nix under center. You haven't heard? We got a new gunslinger in town called
Here's
Bo
the thing.
Nix.
Hear me out. Jimmy Garoppolo skipped so that kid from South Dakota could kind of do a fast-paced walk so that Brock Purdy could run.
Okay. All right. Hey, we'll see.
We wouldn't have heard of Brock Purdy if them two didn't have, injuries.
We'll see what happens. We'll see. Hopefully Bo Nix is the next best thing, but we'll see. But Ben, take it away with your Cowboys. Let's see here. What you got, buddy?
Needle in a haystack.
There's a lot. I mean, McCarthy obviously does not have a contract after this year, so you can start there. I mean, that's, he wanted to be the play caller, and I mean, their offense did not dip at all. I mean, they were still a top 3 scoring offense, just like they were under Kellen Moore, and just like they were under Kellen Moore, their offense was not good in the playoffs. So their offense was basically the same last year, production-wise, in the regular season. It changed after that absolute destruction in maybe week 4 against the 49ers. After that game, they started peppering CeeDee Lamb, like 12 plus targets like every week, and he led the league in receiving. So once they started being like, holy crap, that's our best player on offense, maybe we should get him the ball, their offense was top 3 in the league last year, and CeeDee Lamb put up ridiculous numbers. But McCarthy, you don't have a contract, so you're coaching for your job, clearly. I mean, I don't know what the hell is taking them so long to do the contract of Parsons and CeeDee Lamb, but if they're idiots and don't pay them, and then they both produce again this year, their cost is going to go up. So I guess what's at stake for those two is if they don't get a contract, they can outperform what they already were, and they're going to make Dallas pay them even more. So Dallas, to me, is just batshit crazy on what they're doing this offseason. That's like everybody from probably like February, and now we're in May. What is the top 3 to-do list on the Cowboys list? Parsons' contract, CeeDee Lamb's contract, Dak's contract. Everybody knows this. And we're sitting here 3 months later. Those 3 things are all still to be done. It doesn't make any sense whatsoever. So depending upon if those contracts get done or not, those players all have things at stake depending upon what their contract situations are. I secretly think they've decided that Dak can't win them Super Bowl and they're not going to pay him, and they're just going to, eat the loss, and that's that. To me, behind the scenes, they're like, he's a great leader, he's a great person, plays well in the regular season, gets a little nervous under the bright lights, makes some pretty dumb mistakes, and I don't know if we can win with him. So I think, honestly, behind the scenes, they've decided they're not going to give him a new contract, and that's why it's kind of drawn out this long. And to be completely honest, that's not an idiotic move. You can't, in today's league, you can't justify paying a quarterback $50+ million a year just to get regular season wins. You honestly can't even really sell that. Well, Jerry Jones can sell anything to 99% of Cowboys fans because they're idiots. But the 1% who actually know what the hell is going on, you can't sell to us, let's pay a quarterback $50+ million, and all he's going to do is get a bunch of regular season wins. Mm-hmm. It's actually a good business decision, to be honest, to not pay somebody that amount of money, because you're going to be limited as what you can do on your cap. Now, what the heck are they going to do at quarterback? I have no idea, to be completely honest. And I know I'm going on a tangent here, but if I am running the team, which I never will be, but if I was, I literally would be like, I don't care how mad it's going to make him, and I don't care how much money you're getting paid. We have to see what Trey Lance is. Dak?
Trey Lance, that's his name.
You're over here. You're either sitting on the bench or you're getting traded. But
I mean,
we're going to pay him because he's a free agent next year, the same as Dak is. I literally, as much as it would take balls, let's say, sorry to use that word, but, I would be like, listen, Dak, you want to go to another team? I'm going to trade you. You want to stay here? You're the backup. I don't care how much money you're getting paid. I don't care how little money we're paying Trey Lance. We got to figure out what the hell Trey Lance is. Like, what are you going to do?
Right.
And
Trey Lance has been in the league now for how many seasons? Going on 4? 3?
3. This
4?
will be his 4th season.
Yeah.
And if you don't get him,
we've seen him in 2 games?
If you don't get him on the field, how can you pay him?
Exactly.
And if he could be your next quarterback, how are you going to pay him when he doesn't play? He's got to play. So I guess secretly, maybe I should hope for Dak to get injured and Trey Lance to step in and just start balling out. And then Dak won't get his job back, similar to what happened with Romo and him.
Yeah.
Maybe the reverse could happen.
You probably talked about this already, Ben, on the last show that I missed, and so forgive me if I'm asking again, but how do you think that Zeke is going to do?
I think as a running back in today's league, if you are good to great at short yardage and at pass blocking, you're going to have a job. He's still one of the best pass blocking running backs. He does not get beat. He blocks the dude. I never, in a Cowboys uniform, which I watch just like all of you, probably 99% of their games and plays, I never saw him get beat when he was blocking somebody. Mm-hmm. Always blocked the dude. Didn't matter who it was. And to be honest, I mean, I didn't watch a ton of Patriots, but that skill itself doesn't fade really. Mm-hmm. So he has that skill. That's a very good skill. And he has the short yardage, which he's not as he was, 4 or 5 years ago at 3rd and 1, 4th and 1, but he's still pretty good at it. And he can still catch. So he can contribute. He's not going to be the Zeke of 2016 or 2018, but as far as can he help the team? Yeah. 100%.
Yeah.
You can do those three things as a running back at a good to great level. You can play in the league. That's why he's still in the league.
I mean, it's like there are just things about this Cowboys team where it's just like there's just so many different obvious decisions that this team has to do, and they're not doing it. And I would fully support with Dak Prescott. I've been a big Dak Prescott fan for years, but he just is what it is at this point. I mean, he's 30, 31, 32. I don't know how old the man is. So you know what you're getting with him. So I don't know. Just for the sake of time, I'm going to keep mine quick. We need 2 questions answered.
Dak will be 31 when the season starts.
Okay, there you go. So you got to ask yourself, well, he's going to be 31. That's still, he's still got years, but he's going to be that guy for you. I don't know. We'll see. For my lovely Denver Broncos, I'm just going to keep it very quick. 1, Sean Payton, you now have the quarterback that you wanted, which was a guy who could release the ball quickly and be accurate in short intermediate passes, and a guy that could really be able to read the defense quickly. Now you have that guy. Now you have to shut up put up or shut up at this point. Because for me, I think Sean Payton is highly overrated, and he hasn't done anything since Drew Brees. So we're just going to see if he really is that guy. But I think we just need to see some type of direction. Can we say by the end of 2024 that we are in a direction to rebuild our team through the draft and being going to the right direction? That's all I'm going to say. I don't have too many high expectations. I don't. And it's rather depressing, but I'll be okay.
Imagine if Russell Wilson, the quarterback that he was frustrated with, actually goes on a tear for the Pittsburgh Steelers. And all of a sudden, unfortunately, your Denver Broncos, as you say, you have legitimate concerns, go on decline. I'm going to need Coach Payton to go into the restroom or wherever it is nearby. And the first person that he sees in the mirror, I want him to just blame that person that he sees in the mirror.
Or,
because he can't, there's so much finger, as you said, Jeff, last season, there's so much finger pointing that he can do until he realizes that he is part of the problem. There's so much of the bus you can run over with many people. And the thing is, you're going to look as foolish as heck if Russell Wilson has an outstanding season. Throwing the if out there, the big if. Because again, Russell Wilson is going to be 35, 36, when the season starts. So
Marisa, my mind, I'm sorry, when you said look in a mirror, my mind immediately went to the bathroom scene of Liar Liar. And he's just beating himself up. The old guy walks in, goes, what are you doing? I'm kicking my ass. Do you mind?
Because that's basically what he's going to do. He's basically going to do that.
When you were describing that, I'm like, oh my God, this is
Russell Wilson had 20. But he had 26 touchdowns, 8 interceptions, I think 3,300 yards.
Yeah.
The last image that I remember is Sean Payton getting on his grill at the sideline, and it went on national public television. That's the last image I have of that.
Mm-hmm. I think it was that Patriots game that they should never have lost. That game.
Yeah.
Night game.
When that was on Christmas Day.
Yeah.
Christmas, there you go.
Christmas. Oh, that really irks me. The freaking Patriots, man. The
struggling Patriots.
The Patriots.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, we literally could have made the playoff. We were
It's
in
going
the
to be interesting to watch too with a new coach at the helm. But on a side note, I'm liking this Bill Belichick that's no longer in a coaching realm. I'm liking what I'm seeing. The fun side of Bill, who's now going to be part of Mondays on the Pat McAfee show. This is really, on Peyton Manning. Peyton and Eli show. He's going to be part of that, their segment coming up in the fall. So it's going to be fun to watch him.
That was going to be good. All right, let's keep this thing rolling. We have we did a little bit of football here, but you want to get I'll leave it to you guys. You want to do a little recap on these game fours? You want to look at this Nuggets Timberwolves series? I'm kind of thinking maybe talk about this Timberwolves Nuggets series right here, because this one there's just so much.
Yeah, this one's a good series, but we definitely want to. I know Jeff, I've said it off air, but we're going to spend a good at least probably 15 minutes on this series because there's so much. Next week we're gonna dive into this series much deeper, but we're on it right now, so let's talk about it now. I'll be bold right now, and I'll say that I'm gonna say Minnesota's gonna win tonight, and they're gonna win Game 6, and they're gonna win. That's my bold pick. I really think that as much as Anthony Edwards really can't do anything more, last game scored 44. There's something about, like, you guys remember, like, it was 2 years ago when Luka got the Mavs to the conference finals. And what was, like, the main reason that happened? Luka balled. I think we could see the same thing happen where, and obviously he needs his role players to do more than Game 4 because he was really the only one that played well in Game 4. But I'm kind of sensing like that sometimes in the NBA, there's just that one dude that gets hot in the playoffs and can take a team maybe arguably further than they should go. And that's kind of like the eye test. That's what I'm seeing with the Timberwolves, although obviously it was disappointing. They lost 2 at home. I'm not shocked that Denver won at least one of those games. I think Minnesota, definitely should have won one of them. But now that it's 2-2, if I was their coach, I would just be like, listen, guys, like, it doesn't matter what happened the first 4 games. It's a wash. It really doesn't matter. It's a 3-game series. Throw all of that away. Like, we got to win 2 out of these next 3, and that's it. And I think we talked about it earlier as far as coaching. Finch is this guy's name. Can't remember his first name. And then the Thunder coach, Dagano, did something. Anyways, those 2 coaches have done an amazing job with these teams. And coaching matters.
And shout out to the assistant coach. Chris Finch is his name. Shout out to the assistant coach that came in for him when he got injured on that, that horrible situation. But yeah.
Absolutely. And the Thunder coach, I want to get it right. Mark Daigneault. We'll go with Daigneault.
We'll just go with that.
Either way, both of those coaches have done amazing jobs with these teams and these rosters. And I think that that's what will, and Mike Malone is amazing. His little I think it was like 3-minute clip showing his team of everybody saying they were done was absolutely brilliant. Like, just genius coaching move. Like, reminds you of like what Riley used to do, what Phil Jackson used to do. Like, it was like, I know my team, and I know after I do this, we're going to respond. And that's exactly what they did. So Mike Malone, shout out to you as well. Great coach, championship coach. And he knew the temperature of his team, and he knew showing them that was going to elevate their play. And that's exactly what happened. But for me, maybe I'm putting too much stock in one dude, but we've seen in the NBA, one dude just go to here, and all he needs is, Cat to play a little bit better, or, some of their role players. But the other thing is their defense in Minnesota was like it wasn't there. Like, you did not recognize their defense. That was more of their problem to me at the home games than their offense, because that's been their strongest point the entire year. So for me, if they start playing better defense like they were, the games in Denver, I think the Timberwolves defense in their home games were crap. And I think that if their defense is better, which it should be, and Ant does what he does, I think they're going to win. I just have it there. And Jeff, you talked a lot about it. Denver's depth is not the same. And that's where the Timberwolves,
they have no bench.
Exactly.
The Timberwolves have done a brilliant job exposing the Nuggets' depth, and the depth that they have is in one person, and that is Nikola Jokic. And he can't do everything by himself, and we have talked about that. And I think that I mentioned that their bench, they never had a team challenge them and expose them as they did with them 2 horrible losses that they got at home. Like Denver Nuggets fans were stunned. Like, what in the world? And then you had you had the heating pad gate come out of Jamal Murray. Cost them friggin' $100,000. And then that's why you're not hearing a whole lot of a mouth out of him, because he knows that if they lose this series to the Timberwolves, which I think the Nuggets will win it in 7, it'll be ugly and it'll be close, but I think they win it in 7. He's not going to hear the end of his antics that he did in Game 3. He's not.
Nor should he.
No, he shouldn't, because that heating pad went under Karl Anthony Towns' foot, and that could have caused a horrible situation with that. So, and then for him to have the crappy, lackluster response after the game when they got tore up, and I mean, literally every media outlet just pretty much just was calling him out for the way that, his lack of accountability was for his antics. I think that silence is golden and has been golden these last 2 games. And yes, Anthony Edwards has every right to jaw at him because he's poking the bear, which is great. But this series is going to go 7, in my opinion, and it's going to get uglier. And it's going to be which one of these teams can win in their respectable court. Because if Minnesota takes this one, like you say, at Denver, they're going to close it out in Game 6.
Okay, so you see, all right, I see what you're saying. So T-Wolves win tonight. If Timberwolves win tonight, you got them in 6.
Yep.
Yeah, we're in the same boat there. But you are saying, your prediction-wise is saying that
my prediction is that I was saying that the home team is going to win it.
The home teams are going to hold serve now.
Yep.
Forget the first 4 games. Now the home teams are going to hold serve. Okay. I mean, you could definitely see that happen, but that to me is also one of the things, like, I guess the Timberwolves coaches can use as far as, like, hey, we know we can win here.
Yeah.
We just did it last week. Like, we're not afraid of playing in Denver. Like, we can win here.
I think Ben, a name that people are really not talking about, but they need to give him credit, especially the first 2 games. And I think he's going to show more in this game tonight, is Nickel Alexander-Walker for the Timberwolves. I mean, just I can't recall either Game 1 or Game 2 and how brilliant he was on the defensive end and how he just frustrated the starting 5. Jamal Murray and pretty much made Jokic play literally like he was by himself on the court, because he was just his big, solid, massive body just blocking out shots and blocking out defenders, frustrating Connolly's shot, and causing the team to just figure out what to do next. And he just went up levels between games 1 and 2. And I don't think that, he's being acknowledged a lot and seen for that. But, just he has been absolutely lights out when it comes on defense.
We're still sorry about that, guys.
No, you're good.
No, we were talking about Nickel Alexander-Walker from the Timberwolves and how he has been a valuable asset on the defensive end for them, especially in games 1 and 2. Yeah, and I just said that I don't think that he has been acknowledged enough as how much he has been a huge help, especially under the basket for the Minnesota Timberwolves.
I think this goes into the larger story that we are seeing real true basketball finally in the playoffs, right? Where we're seeing games going into the 4th quarter, 68 to like 65. We're seeing
under that 5-minute mark.
Right?
Yes.
Right? Like, we're seeing fundamental basketball. We're seeing the importance of a pick and roll. We're seeing the importance of having good guard play. We're seeing the importance of having a good bench, which makes even what the Knicks are doing even that just more monumental. So, like, just as a basketball purist fan, what we are seeing has just been absolutely amazing. And the one tip that I want to say with the Timberwolves is, what type of Timberwolves team are we going to see? Are we going to see the team that was dominant the first 2 games where we thought they were going to sweep the Nuggets, or are they just going to kind of flail? And I think that the difference that's going to make in this is really the first 2 to 3 minutes who brings the fight the most. Denver didn't bring the fight the first 2 games. Game 3 and 4, they brought that fight, and they beat the snot out of Denver. So,
Jeff, who you make your pick this series? Who's winning?
Who is winning? I would say the Timberwolves for a while, but I think the Nuggets got something figured out. Okay. I think this will go to 7 games, and I think Denver wins this by 6 in overtime.
All right, I like it. So she's got the home teams winning the next 3. You got the same?
What? So Denver?
So Denver winning tonight, Minnesota 6, Denver 7. You got the home teams winning?
Yeah.
Okay, I like it. I like it.
New series, as you were saying, sir. Do we want to get to this, or did you want to get to Ben Gets Loud for the sake of time?
Let's go, Ben. Let's go.
I got.
Let's go. Let's go.
Marisa
Ben
was talking about it, and it just like, man, like, okay, so we got 4 major professional sport league in the United States. We got baseball, we got hockey, we got football, we got basketball. Okay, so 3 of those sports. Oh, your team was the worst. Okay, well, we're going to reward you with the first pick. Oh, your team was the second worst. Okay, so you're going to get the second pick. Oh, you finished 3rd to worst. Okay, you're going to get the 3rd pick. In the NBA, which, okay, that's 4 leagues, right? We got 75% of the leagues doing it one way.
Go for it, Ben.
75% of the leagues are doing it the same way. 3 out of the 4. Okay? Now, you get the NBA.
Come on.
This old, I'm not going to use the word rigged because I honestly don't believe.
I'll use it. Rigged. Go ahead.
Okay. Well, you go there. But anyways, they got this whole system like, oh, we got this lottery. We're going to see all these ping pong balls. We're going to put it on TV. We're going to have like former players and execs go there, represent the team. We're going to have, not even necessarily the owners go to these things. We're going to put it on live TV. We're going to make this whole big thing. And then, if you're the worst team, you got like, a 14% chance to get the number 1 pick. What? 14% chance for somebody who was the worst team in the league? If you're going to do a lottery, that percentage makes no sense whatsoever. You're going to keep the lottery. The worst team should not have a 14% chance. They should have at least like a 60% chance.
Talk about it, Ben.
Like, what, 14% chance? That's like 1 out of 10, basically. I mean, it's a little bit better than 1 out of 10. Like, what is that crap? So the 14%, and then you got 3 teams that all have the same 14% chance. Like, that doesn't make any sense either. If you're going to do the lottery thing, to me, you take the 3 worst teams, and you say this team has a 33% chance, this team has a 33% chance, and then this team has a 33% chance. Like, that's it. The only people that are going to get the number 1 pick is the 3 worst teams. Somebody out of those 3. Not these teams that are like 6th and 7th and just get the number 1. Like, it makes absolutely no sense, the fact that the lottery system exists. But if you're going to keep it, you got to freaking increase the odds of the worst team getting the 1 pick. It can't be 14% chance. Like, that makes no sense whatsoever. But honestly, the NBA has kept it as a lottery because it is a spectacle. It gets people to talk about it like we're talking about it. It gets people to talk about it on TV, on radio. It gets ratings. It's this whole big thing. There's a debate. Should we keep it? Should we not? The NBA, it's for the discussion. It's for the ratings. And it's like, we have this event. We don't want to get rid of this event. It's the lottery night. It's so we promote it. Put it on TV. We don't want to lose this event. It's so, like, just backwards thinking. Like, it's just so beyond me that this stupid, like, you getting the 1 pick is dependent upon a bunch of ping pong balls. Just say that sentence out loud again. Your chances of getting the one pick.
Let me throw this out to either one of y'all, and then I gotta head back to the studio. Let me throw this out to both of y'all. So you are in the position. You are the Adam Silver of the NBA. What is the solution to fix this situation so that teams like mine, for 3 years straight, the worst team of this last season doesn't sit at number 5?
Yeah, the solution is do it like the other 3 leagues. Worst team, 1 pick. Second worst, 2. That's the solution. I would do that literally tomorrow.
Because you already have the load management thing in place already now. So for players to be eligible for awards, they have to play at least 65 games. And now that there's that mandate now from the league where if it's national broadcast games, you can only have players can't sit. So you can't do the tanking thing anymore. So that's already done. So I just say, yeah, I agree. Do it like that.
I mean, you keep an eye on the ones that are trying to tank to get that number 1 spot, and you heavily find that organization. You heavily find the owner that, if the Pistons purposely only wanted to win 15 games and they tanked on purpose, we cheated the system. If the system of the NFL was brought into the NBA, then yes, they should pay a penalty for, messing up the system. And as you said, Jeff, there is systems in play like, oh, well, you missed this amount of many games. You're not eligible for this particular award. You're not eligible for MVP. You're not. They have managed that so well, but have made this whole draft lottery a cluster chaos.
And Jeff, you're not going to like this example, but if done right, tanking can build a championship team. Houston Astros. They were horrible for 3 years straight. Horrible.
They're horrible
if it's done well.
Oh, not according to the Tigers, because apparently we can't beat them at home. Oof.
But I'm just saying,
Green doing his thing.
And baseball does not have a problem with Houston sucking for so long and then becoming not a dynasty but winning a lot. Baseball got no problem with that.
It's amazing to me they can suck, but somehow they just make it to the postseason.
But yeah, the lottery thing, man, you gotta just get rid of it, man. It's so dumb. It's dumb.
All right, but hey, that's real. But all right. But hey, guys, we're going to end that one. Tigney, thanks for coming on. Appreciate it. Looking forward to NFL training camp is, I think, not 8 weeks away.
Yes.
That'll be here before you know it. I can't wait to football.
My next ventures is with the WNBA. I'm going to my very first game tomorrow, Dallas Wings versus the Chicago Sky.
Okay,
nice. It's going to be amazing. It's going to be amazing. It's going to be several of them that I'm going to. It's the first time that I've been going to a game since when, I'm telling on myself, but the WNBA has been in existence in 27 seasons. And when the Detroit team had Detroit Shock was the early years, right? So it's been a while.
Too. They won too.
Under Coach Beer, Lambier, one of the best.
They were really good.
Nice. All right, well, have fun. Have fun at that one. Should be good. That should be good. Rooting for Tyrese. Let's go. All right, guys. Peace and love. Until next time, we'll be back next week for episode 133. Until next week, peace and love.